But
The Kera Dangerous Talk. Wow, we have a great episode today. We have none other than the awesome Mr. Judge Joe Brown. Welcome to the show, Judge.
Hello, and you don't have to put the Mr. on the front of the judge. The judge is the title, like doctor. I got that too, but lawyer, attorney, doctor, Mr., somewhere in there. How you doing?
I'm good. Excuse me, that's just an extra little respect thing. That's a Southern thing. I didn't even know I added it on there for you.
You added it on. The judge will do nicely. I don't sell fried chicken, so I don't worry about the kernel thing. So there you go.
Just a little sugar for you, that's all. So, Judge, the way I like to start my show off is I like to give you your flowers. Are you okay with that?
I'm still breathing. I don't need them yet. Anyway, if it's on your thing, go right ahead.
All right, baby. So sit back, relax, and let me give you your flowers. So, Judge, I just want to say I always admire your honesty and just your bluntness, and you just get straight.
I mean, when I smack somebody across the head, figuratively or literally, yeah, usually they need it. That was my job. I'm judgmental. Remember, Judge, we do these things. We have dispensation.
Yes, I love it. So, and I mean, growing up, just seeing a black man on TV as a judge, you were one of the only ones. It was just a good image to see. And I have to be honest with you, when I was younger, I didn't understand sometimes your demeanor on the Judge Joe Brown show. But as I got older, I understood your point of view a lot more. Yeah.
Grown folk stuff. You've been out on a date lately and you've been walking into the place and somebody on the far side of the parking lot wants to share with you what he was trying to do with Tomadika last night, and nobody really wants to listen to it, and you can hear them sharing their music from 3 blocks away and all of that kind of rude, no home training type behavior. Yeah. See, there's this thing called public peace, dignity, and order.
Yes. Well, I tell you, I grew up with you, but like I said, I definitely understand your point of view a lot better. You just seemed like you were just tired of the mess and you could see through people. You could see with somebody full of crap. So, I ended up appreciating your point of view a lot of the time. So I want to thank you again for joining us on the show today.
My pleasure, my dear.
Thank you. So let's get to it, because I have a lot I want to cover with you. So I want to start with this. I know how you feel about him, but we have to talk about your Mark Lamont interview that you did.
Jackass in chief, little sissy boy running around trying to play funky for what's his other name? Poppin' Fresh Doughboy, Roland Martin. Yeah, that.
Oh yeah, Roland. Yeah.
Do we have to talk about that? They don't amount to much. It's just a creation of the mainstream media to misdirect us and general population. Why give them more play than they deserve? They don't deserve much. The boy thinks he's smarter than he is, but we'll leave it at that. And he tried to ambush me, so I just sort of didn't even have to work too hard to flip it right on back.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and that's the point that I wanted to bring up, because I thought it was a little unfair to you. He brought you on the show and wanted
I knew he was going to ambush. One of the people that works for Roland Martin. He's got a big mouth, really. I don't like him, but he shoots his mouth off and was bragging about what he and Roland Martin cooked up, allegedly. So no big deal. Come on, if you think you can take me on, you fight in that weight category. All right, let's see what you got.
So I heard that. But let me just say this, Judge Joe Brown. I think it's important to let people know sometimes people bring you on a show and then you're nice enough to come on, and then when you leave, they kind of bash you. So I felt like, on the show, you gave your point of view about Bill Cosby or whatnot, and you kept it straight law for the most part, and you can't argue.
He's a sissy boy. He's a sissy boy. He's lost out on the ratings angle he was trying to get. So then he's trying to go appeal to the hashtag Me Too bit and try to get some pull on that, because he doesn't put on a very good show. It's not hard hitting. He doesn't have much personal knowledge about the subjects he brings up. And other than maybe getting somebody like me on, he's downhill in the ratings. So while we whoop him, more power to him, but you know, you bring me on and you try to ambush me, it gets interesting. I enjoy that kind of thing.
Well, just to give people some little more information about it. So basically, what you said in the clip, what Lamont was.
Should I give us a quick summation?
Sure.
The boy wanted to deal with emotionalism rather than law. Black folk in America have suffered entirely too much from the lynch mob, mob justice, where somebody's emotions controls the outcome rather than the law. So he wants people to disregard the clear application of the obvious and long-standing law because his emotions want to dictate something else. So anybody that is a black man who walks in a mirror and say, oh, wow, you know, like they might categorize me as those African Americans, Black Americans, Afro Americans, Negro, Black, colored Americans, you know, somewhere in there. It's the last thing in my interest to get to talking about emotional outcomes on law matters. See, so what kind of fool does that? No, it's an oxymoron. You're a damn fool if you advocate position. So when he started doing it, I just said, oh, click, click, click. 1 and 1 is 2, and 2 plus 4, that's 6. Okay. Oh, here we go. You did get through elementary school, didn't you, Dodo? Or did you sit in the corner with the dunce cap on and start trying to play classroom clown? Okay, so don't you want him to try to clown me? You got a long way to go.
Yeah, I didn't really get it. I didn't understand why he kept trying to push you to agree with him when you were giving him straight facts of the law. And
he was trying to set me up so he and Roland could go get into something because their ratings are dropping. So they aren't being too colored these days in terms of the way mainstream media wants their little franchised house Negroes to act. So there you go.
There's a lot of coons and coonettes, as I can quote Dr. If I can quote Dr. Short.
You got some coonettas out there, some third floor house wenches that want to get up and get an assurance that they'll stay on the third floor even after they're not so pretty after a few years.
Look, let me get to a quote, Judge, so that I can bring it around for the people. So Lamont said, if you give someone drugs, or even if they want to take the drugs and alcohol, if they get to a point where they are inebriated, where they are high or drunk, you cannot have sex with them. It is not sex, it becomes rape. And then you replied, that's only the law in certain states. And he just wanted to fight you on that. So I guess the point that I want to get to is, it's like they want us to always to believe the word of women without a reasonable doubt. We're not supposed to, you know, go through the system and have the trial anymore.
Well, you know what? Good sister I know, known her for 30 years. She said, Joe, look here. I've been trying to go to the gym. I said, yeah, dear, you sure looking good. You worked it. Yeah, you got it working. Yeah. Get my hair right, you know, makeup done right, nails done right, nothing garish, dress appropriately. And these damn fool hashtag Me Too's have got all of these men I'm trying to attract scared to talk to me. The hell with that. You know, what kind of ratings do you have, not in terms of viewer, but I mean in terms of after dark, you know, adult? What kind of situation are we in here?
I don't know. I can tell you we're uncensored.
I'm just talking about the use of language and stuff. You know?
Oh no, it's uncensored. You can say whatever you want.
Okay, whenever you see a human, what are you looking at?
Their face?
No, when you see a live human, what are you looking at?
I don't know. This seems like a trick question, so I'm not looking at.
It's a joke, but it's straight up point. When you see a live human, you see a successful fuck. So you were born after a successful fuck. You mature, you grow up, you court, you breed, you raise, and then you die. And then the cycle gets repeated. and that's all you have. So when you
Yes.
get some idiot that wants to break the cycle, like the era of where you been, you know, hey, you wouldn't even be here yourself. So see, I guess the young guy has never taken a woman out to a good dinner, white linen on the table, candlelight on the table, a good wine, Chablis, Pinot Noir, Merlot, something, and indulged in a good evening and gone for a walk in the park, in spring or going into early fall, holding hands and done your place and mine. I guess he's never done that. So if he's too square to get to that point, then I can't help him. He just is too lamed out to be able to talk to. And the other thing is this, aren't women supposed to be equal in value and equal to men? Well, you mean to tell me that these equal value, equal to men ladies can't control their own input of alcohol, where you are so subdued and at the mercy of a man that he can get you to do anything your mama should have taught you not to do? That's kind of wild, isn't it? Oh, yeah, I forgot. It's always the man's fault. But, you know, I mean, I always take responsibility. I don't want any drunk nookie. Drunk nookie is pickled nookie, and you don't want it pickled, you want it fresh.
No, that
So
sounds
it's
old
always
school
better-
right there, boy.
Yeah, it's better when it's by consent. You see what this fool didn't want to deal with, and I keep using FOOL because with him, it's no longer a question of are you dealing with a fool, but how big a fool can a fool be? That's one of my sayings from back then. Anyway, what I get into is, look, nobody's making you do this. This is what you wanted to do. You did have a driver's license that said 21 to get this alcohol put on your table, didn't you? So you did want to go out, and he's not saying here, keep drinking. So we get into that kind of mix. What did we have? You see, this is old school too. It's called groupie. You know what a groupie is, don't you? Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Sex, drugs, and basketball. Sex, drugs, football. Sex, drugs, TV. Sex, drugs, movie. Stuff, sex, drugs, politicians, and politics. Yeah, that's like being a groupie. Hang with the men with the power. You get to hang with the alpha male.
Well, I think I do think that they don't want to put any of the responsibility on the women, but I'm not comfortable because of our history just believing the word of a white woman, especially not multiple white women when it comes to them accusing someone black of doing something, because in too many cases they have lied on us and we have been prosecuted. And it just makes me uncomfortable. And the fact that so many black people are trying to turn this into a oh, you don't understand what rape is.
Get over it. Get over it. See, first off, let's watch your selection in men. Be careful where you go. Be careful what you wear. And let's start with that.
Well, they'll get mad at you for saying be careful.
I don't give a damn if I do. I look like I give a flying F if they get mad at me.
No, I'm just telling you, they're going to be after you.
I don't give a damn. Let's get real.
Okay.
It's like money. I can pull a couple of grand in cash out of my pocket. Yo, man, look at my bankroll, man. I'm, hey, man, you want to go hang with this? We can go party, lady. Somebody else is watching. You have a right to have that cash. It's United States currency, can be used for purchases of merchandise and services. So that's your right to have it. But if you go flash it, you're in the wrong place, part of town, and you can't handle the consequences, you're going to get your dumb ass hijacked, right? So it's your right to flash flesh. But if you're in the wrong kind of situation, you might get that flesh hijacked. And if you're with a guy who is not solid up here, who is a punk and is going to try to snatch your nookie when he ought to be protecting it, then you played punk and didn't know what you were looking for on the first hand. So you see, it's a man's job to save you from that. But if you're running around stuck on stupid, I don't need a man that, well, you're on your own. You picked it. And see, the other thing is, don't lie to yourself. Why did you pick him to go out? You wanted status. You playing groupie, lady. You wanted the drugs. You wanted the drugs, bring the drugs on, and then the BBC or BBD. You know what that is?
BBD. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
My mom may be watching, Judge.
I know. That's why I said, tell me who's watching. But your mama can tell you about this and school you. That's what you were out there for.
Oh,
what else
God.
You got to offer? You have conversation? Or you going, duh, baby, you know, blah. Hey, you got any lewds? I don't know how many female clientele I had to get out of trouble because they had a penchant for wanting to pop some lewds all the time. Didn't I tell you the last time I got your stuff out this mess, you need to lay off? But you know, Judge, not Judge, then Lawyer Brown, you know, it make you feel like, look, that's your problem. You just keep getting in these messes. So the bottom line is just like you don't flash cash, you don't flash flesh. And this is a lecture on another scale. There is a difference between looking sexy and looking slutty.
Hello. Yeah, and we have moved away from these rules in society. Everything's okay, you know.
No, it's not okay.
Obviously, yeah. That's what I'm saying.
It's not okay. Act with some respect. And see, that's the other thing. These boys today, a lot of them didn't have any daddy influence, uncle influence, granddad influence. It's your friend girl's mama that raised them. Mm. And look at your friend girl and look at you, how you think. Somebody that got raised by somebody like that, what do you think they're thinking about you when you get the flash and flesh? And then you get these 6B boys. Mm-hmm. You know what the 6B boys are?
No.
They unbelt, drop britches, drop boxers, bend over, spread butt cheeks, get banged. And that's who you're dealing with. And you're dealing with competition for the thing you're supposed to be offered.
I mean, that's
ain't a pretty sight. So no telling what's going to happen to you. And then you get somebody that wants to tell you some years later, honey, it wasn't your fault. These men are all evil. They're all no good. And it isn't fair that they have all of these controls over power. You should have gotten that part, not that other little slut running around. And you know, you gave it up like you were supposed to. No, you weren't supposed to. You were supposed to act like you had some good common sense and you had some class. Somebody wants to put you in a movie. If it isn't a slut movie, why should he get somebody that exudes sluts? Mm. See, a lot of times you look at some of the people that they have in these movies and on TV, you can see what they exude. It's not clean. So why do you want to screw up your product by putting somebody that's not clean in there? And then you want to see where we've gone to? Mm-hmm. Do you remember all of the fuss and the muss that went on about the wardrobe malfunction with Janet Jackson at the Super Bowl?
Of course.
Now, how about all of that mess on TV because it was at the Super Bowl and it was a flash nanosecond? You had to go back and after you recorded it and look it over and carefully just what the hell are they talking about? Oh, is that all? But then you get Cardi B down on the floor of the Staples Center at a Lakers game, and she's got all of her bare butt cheeks from Hippo, Haven flashing around, bouncing oil down the dental floss. Lizzo, yes.
Yeah. I know what you mean, though, and Cardi B, you know.
Not Cardi B, Lizzo. I keep confusing. One of them looks better than the other, but it's still slut action. You see, you don't need to do that. And see, let me make it personal. Lady friend of mine called me up and said, Joe, could you please talk to my granddaughter? Oh, Lord, what's now? Young lady, you are very talented, athletic, you are intelligent. Why are you eating a half a loaf of white bread at a time? Your grandmother wants me to talk to you. Well, Judge Brown, I just want to look beautiful like Cardi B. Not Cardi B, like Lizzo.
Wow, really?
Said a whole loaf of bread? That isn't beautiful. What's the matter with you?
Right.
Well, they say it's the men love it. Them broke boys ain't got no cash, love it because they lied to you and want you to get to spend money on them so they can get their car note paid because they can't afford to get a car on their own without hustling you. Not Cardi, Lizzo.
Lizzo, yeah.
Cardi B, I used to lock Cardi B's up all the time. 3 to 5 or 6 years in the penitentiary. That's called robbery. Getting your tricks drugged out, drunked out, and then robbing them. You go on that territory and you brag about it, you don't have anything to say.
Judge O'Brien, so what's going on with society? Have you heard of OnlyFans?
Make sure I'm talking about the same thing. What is an OnlyFan?
OnlyFans is a site where you are allowed to post let's say content you can't post anywhere else. It's used by sex workers.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Why are you doing stuff that you can find on Pornhub that's a little bit more monetized or not monetized? Advertisement. What is the matter with you? You take your naked self doing all kinds of sex stunts and you put it out for everybody to see. You just might run into the guy you might have wanted to run into. And he chances across that, hey, man, I don't want to say anything, man, but check this out, man. I don't want to be, yeah, he's being wrong. He shouldn't have sent it, but he sends it over to the guy, man. This the woman you was out with last Friday, man.
So obviously you know about it. We have regular people joining, trying to make money, stay-at-home mothers. We got celebrities posting nude pictures on there now. It's just, I don't know. I know you all about this society has become so sexualized. So
well, no, it's not sexualized. It's not sexualized. I don't have any problem with sexualized. Like, what did I say? Whenever you see a good human, you're looking at a successful fuck. So I ain't got nothing wrong with that. Sex is good. But slut action is not sex action. It's kind of boring because it does not deal with the obvious. Now, young brothers, if you listen, let me tell you something about this whole thing. Ladies, too. You ever seen people who say, oh, I'm not photogenic. I just take horrible pictures.
Of course.
Well, it's not that they're not photogenic and it's not that they take horrible pictures. It's just when you take that camera shutter, you actuate it and you get that image, what you're doing is freezing a body language message. And the message the person is sending may not be a good one. So when they say, oh, I'm not photogenic, what they're really saying is that subconsciously they sent a nasty or vile or rude or a messed up message to somebody. Now, when you're having sex, it's 100% body language, no talking. Well, maybe a little bit, oh, baby, yeah, anyway. But
Judge, where you get this from? Where you get this from?
It's nonverbal communication. And what you want when you have sex with somebody is to have something good to say with them. So you're carrying on a nonverbal communication. Like me and you talking, since we're looking at each other, about 15% of it consists of the words that we are choosing to use. About 35% consists of the tone, and 50+% consists of the body language. So when you've got a 100% body language message, it doesn't do you any good if it's effed up when you're sending it to the person you're trying to get to receive. So when you're having sex with somebody, and that's almost essentially entirely body language, be careful what kind of message you send, or you may be sending the equivalent of, you don't photograph well, you're not photogenic. So you see a lot of people have that problem and they don't get it. So what I'm saying is sex isn't just about sex. The more you have to say to somebody, the better the sex is. And okay, brothers out there too, ain't no 3, 4, 5 minutes, 10 minutes gonna get it. All this stuff like, yeah, man, I put the snake up in the tunnel, man. She better get mine, because the snake, man, he be. No, that ain't gonna get it. It's like an instrument. The lady is the piano. You have to know how to play the piano if you want that good music. So when you get that good music, it sounds good. It reverberates back to you and you have a beautiful love-making experience. But if you're too shallow to get into, oh man, wow, we whoopee making love and not just screwing. See, Many people can screw. Oh, I'm bored. I'm tired. I don't feel like it. I need something to amuse myself. Let's go screw. Say they don't have enough passion to go F-U-C-K.
Mm-hmm.
But then you get other folk, they don't have the deep, entrenched connection back through humanity and human existence and what goes on in the world to make love, let alone screw well, let alone have sex in an exciting fashion. So get your game together, and it's about communication. You should at least be able to do half hour to an hour if you're anywhere in your under your 60s.
You know what? I didn't know where you were going at first, Judge, but I'm right there with you. See, I knew you were gonna make it make sense. I was just waiting on it to come all the way back around. So I definitely understand what you're saying.
Don't be half stepping when you get together.
That's right. Don't.
And by the way, ladies, I'll give you a clue. A man or a woman,
Okay.
guys, you can listen to this one too. We make love very consistently with our real personalities. Also, interestingly enough, guys, women drive like they make love or have sex if they know how to drive.
About to say, because I thought the rumor was women couldn't drive.
Some women can drive very well. I know women that can keep directions in their heads and find places better than most men can. I know women who are very competent about operating motor vehicles. And I know some that are not because they have other things going on in their heads besides what they're immediately doing.
Wow, I'm learning it all here with Judge Joe Brown. Okay.
And
well,
smell too.
Okay.
I mean, I'm serious. You ever read these adventure novels? Detective Sanchez was walking down the back alley and all of a sudden the hair stood up on the back of his neck. His sixth sense had kicked in, and that's not a sixth sense, that's your nose. You're downwind to something that smells strange, and yeah, you do have a subconscious reaction. But that's the same thing when you're dealing between men and women. Be aware of what's going on. Don't just pay attention to the perfume or the cologne. Smell. Women and men have pheromonal changes as they get excited, get worked up. And guys, if you know how to do it, you get all you want. Then they'll be back for more. And then the other thing is boys grow to be men, and here's the rule. Don't ever stick it in anything you don't want all your best homies to see you with at high noon, walking out in the middle of Main Street in heavy traffic. Don't be dealing with any paper bag drops, let alone these 2 paper bag drops. Don't be dealing with anything you have to hide. It's not good. Plus, you may bring home some ugly kids or get to paying child support for some ugly ones. You don't want that. And it isn't all about beauty, though that helps. It's like a car. If the car looks ugly, you got to go through all kinds of trips and justifications, explain to yourself why you bought it. The car can look great, but if it drives and rolls like you got a rubber band motor in it, who cares? Go buy a toy. So you're looking for appearance, performance, and guidance system. Appearance, performance, guidance system. Guidance system's up here.
Now this is gonna be an episode I definitely rewind and watch a couple of times. You gave me some good notes here. Look, so I got an important topic for you, and I definitely want to hear your take. What do you think about the legalization of marijuana? Now, because, come on, I haven't heard you talk about this yet. I have to say.
Well, I have. Let me put it this way. It's not legal for the United States of America, and federal law supersedes state law. So until the Congress of the United States passes a bill and the president signs off on it or overrides or the veto gets overridden by Congress, it's illegal. And that authorizes and mandates that the U.S. attorney prosecute for that. The other point is, man, white supremacy done got everybody down, man. Ain't no point sitting out there doing nothing, man. White supremacy gonna hold you down, man. I'm just gonna get high, man, play my video game, man. I ain't got that going all that hustle falling white folk, man. They done lost their mind, man.
So do you think it's a bad idea for it to be legalized?
I think it should be legalized, but I don't think it's wise for folk to use it any more than I think it's wise for folk to go around and get too dependent upon anything. A little bit of something might be good. I, frank in life, don't do it now because I'm a diabetic, but you know, I always tried to be, when I did drink, I had a chauffeur, a taxi, a designated driver. I was at home or I had a goddamn hotel room. You know, might have been a lapse here or two, but I wasn't driving, wasn't gonna hurt anybody, and always kept control of my senses. But the bottom line is that more power to you, just, you know, keep things in moderation. Black men in America, Black women in America have enough problems without trying to make yourself less aware of your surroundings. It's called situational awareness. What's going on over there? What's going on over there? If something's going on over there that you ought to be aware of, you don't walk right up into it when you need to be somewhere else.
Now, I have to say the criminalization of marijuana use disproportionately harms young people and people of color the most. You know, it's so many Black people in jail on charges for, you know.
Yeah, you got one in the trying to get in the White House right now. Black women and young Black men seem to have loved her, and that's how she got her claim to fame, locking up with young Black folk in San Francisco.
Who, Kamala?
Yes, come Queen Law.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
I'm not either. I was out there for 15 years when I was doing my show, and I saw that mess out there. And I have been in this system for years, decades, and I know this. Singularly, the most dishonest, unscrupulous bunch of people you can ever find in life are career prosecutors. It's okay to do it for a while, but if that's your whole thing, something's wrong with you up in the head. You're too deep into gamesmanship and you're too little into justice. And don't give me this about, well, I'm trying to do what I see on CSI. Crap. If you were all that good, you would have gotten in somebody's law firm and earned your way without having the police do everything for you.
Yeah, that's what I heard, that Kamala put so many Black people in prison. And then
everybody in San Francisco smoked her, and she's sitting up there making a rep, locking young Black folk up. Come on now.
And then overnight, you know, for the election year, she became like so Black all of a sudden.
I think there are too many young people of color locked up.
Yeah. Now that was cute. That was cute.
Come on.
Oh my God. I just want to let people know that the Senator of Oregon, Ron White, he is the chair of the Finance Committee. He did say that they have generated more than 6 times the revenue predicted for marijuana sales. New Jersey Senator Cory Booker said that there's an urgency to this because there are people all over the country seeing their lives destroyed. They are hurt. And also Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is trying to get the law passed. So we got these senators.
Booker needs to get some of those B's off his moniker, you know, those 6 B's. He needs to get some of them off.
Okay, what's going on with Cory Booker?
I said the 6 B's: unbelt, drop britches, drop boxes, bend, etc.
Not him too.
Oh yeah.
Oh Lord.
See, what's going on with this? Let me tell you something. We saw this back in the 60s when this stuff really got started. It's a way for colored folk, not Black folk, to elect the new ethnic group to belong to. You see, you become a potential sex object rather than a threat. And if you get in on the ground floor with them, they look at you as a resource rather than as somebody that needs to be taken out. But, you know, it gives you the right in America, but just because you have the right doesn't mean you need to exercise it. You know, it's like we marvel at this, some of us. It's like, okay, whatever you want to do in your own bedroom, that's your business. You want to do that, fine. Get your freak on, enjoy yourself. But why does that have to define you?
Mm.
And then see, I went through the stage of I'm black and I'm proud. Yo, man, black power, man. And see what happens is you're proud of what you are. But what I'm looking at is not very well masked self-hate. These people hate what they are, and they hate what they want to be, and they want everybody else to join their misery and hate what they are. Okay, let's say Gay Pride Month. All right, we want some people were studying Alexander the Great. Okay, Alexander the Great did what he did a long time ago in antiquity. He's real live badass, macho, one of the world's great military generals. Why you got to add gay onto it? Do you go, oh, George Washington was so-and-so, he was straight, he had a lot of slaves he screwed, so we have to deal with George was a straight guy who screwed a lot of colored women? Well, yeah, that's bad mouthing him, but what does it add to him?
So why do you think it's done these days? Why do you think
because they're trying to recruit. Remember, they're not proud of what they are. They hate what they are and they hate what they want to be, and they want you to join the club. And besides which, there is an initiation. And when you pass the initiation, you've passed the test. It's called a rite of passage for them. You unbelt, drop breeches, drop boxes, bend, spread. Okay, see, now you're an initiate.
It's one of those topics that a lot of people dance around because
why dance around it? Look what they're doing with it.
That's because they're making it like on this show, of course, we have freedom of speech, but in all other areas, they making it like if you say something and you offend a certain group of people, they're gonna come for you. You can't work, you can't do this, you can't do that.
I know, but you see, it's a gang mob thing. See, like, dude, you don't like what I'm saying. I'm standing right here. You know, what about it? Well, you know, well, then you're entitled to your opinion. I'm entitled to mine. I don't like it. I'm telling you. Now, what about it? Well, it's not fair. Well, I didn't ask you if it was damn fair. I just said, what about it? Now, you see, they get this group, oh, we can go backstab all of these people and get our little buddies who've done the 6B routine and become initiate, and we can take on anybody. Well, see, it's still sick, because if it was all right, what difference would it make? You make all this fuss over something that you claim is a norm, but it's not a new norm. So we have a problem with COVID-19 right now as a result of it. 50 years ago, I heard them on UCLA's campus plotting how to make this all seem normal. It's not normal. Just like, what is normal vision? When you go in and your ophthalmologist or optometrist tests you, what's normal? 20/20.
Wait, they were trying, when you say they were trying to make it normal, what are you talking about?
Well, I'm gonna get there. 20/20 vision is normal, is it not?
Yes.
So if you got 20/10, where you can see at 20 yards what most people can only see at 10, you have very good vision. My mother had 25. In other words, she could see at 20 yards, which most people had to get up to 5 yards to see. That's super normal. But on the other hand, I test out and I needed glasses. So my vision was not normal. It doesn't make me less of a human, but it means I can't fly a jet plane for the military. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But bottom line is that, okay, you don't like that which drives everybody that you see to be a successful screw. You don't like that, but that's the norm. Too bad, move on around behind it or around it and do something else. But you see, you want everybody to be suffering, not, okay, somebody invents some contact lenses or some lensatic surgery so your vision can be improved. What you want, if you follow the LGBT thing, is everybody to get their eyesight on so it's as bad as yours. See, something screwed with that. So instead of looking at Alexander the Great as a great general, warrior, statesman, You look at him as, oh, he's gay. Well, what's that got to do with anything? See, the straight folk don't, I'm straight, I'm straight, I'm straight. That would be like having a Black Pride parade and everybody do what they did up in Ferguson.
Mm-hmm.
What did they do? They put on blackface and they dressed up like slaves doing minstrel dances to guitars, banjos and harmonicas. You know, all of the black elected officials are out there looking like damn fools. And when you had that going on, you know, it's like having little somebody's dressed up like monkeys with little silver chains. If somebody in some stripes was turning an organ grinder and they were capering around like little monkeys. Well, that's what you get when you get a gay pride parade. They got all these folk with their butt cheeks is hanging out, penises hanging out, trying to act lewd and obscene. And like they did in Oklahoma, they got all of these colored folk acting like they were glad to have had the opportunities to be slaves. So they want to bring it back online and bug dance and caper around to organ music, you know, and harmonica music and all of this, and play the banjo. Oh, what's wrong with these people?
Well, the society has moved to anything you want to
That's
be.
not
Is
good.
your, of course.
That's not good.
Well, what do you see it? What do you see it making us head into? Like, what do you see happening with all this?
Well, if I were your age or a little younger, I would start taking, or get Rosetta Stone or something and learn Mandarin Chinese.
Why?
They're gonna take the world over.
Oh, I know. Yeah, Mandarin is
Mandarin Chinese.
I'm trying to remember. It's like oh, I knew somebody that wanted to learn it for a particular reason, and I can't remember, but I know it's important. Break it down.
Hold on one second.
Well, you never know what's gonna happen here, right? With Judge Joe Brown. Very interesting show so far. Got a couple more topics I'm gonna try to get in here if we can. Just to let you guys know, next week we do have Cassidy, the rapper from Philly, the freestyle legend himself, joining us Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern. So that's gonna be another awesome show. I want to thank everybody so far for joining us. So here's the judge back again.
Yeah, I'm back. I just had to get a glass of water. Getting old, I have a pill to take. Now look, I'm trying to lighten it up because everybody wants to talk about these same old tired subjects that everybody talks about that goes all from 360 degrees north to 360 degrees the way around, and it gets nowhere because nobody understands. Old folks used to tell young folks, don't be trying to get out there doing something just because everybody else be doing it. What's your reasons, boy, for wanting to go to this function? And if I said everybody was going, I could guarantee that I was not going to be allowed to go. Come up with something independent. Now, where we go with this, we have some things we have to get together. And here's one rule. Nothing comes easy.
Okay, yes,
I don't care whether you're an athlete, a singer, an entertainer, whether you are a hunter, whether you're a warrior, whether you're a farmer, it's all hard work. So how hard you want to work is going to have a lot to do with what you get on your plate. Now, if you're working very hard, you are being diligent about what you're doing, you're paying attention to what you need to pay attention to, and then stuff is coming down on you and you need a clue as to what to do, I'll help you. If you need somebody to ally with to give you a bit of guidance, I will help you. If you want to ally together for a good cause, I will help you. I will join you or try to get you to join me. But don't come up in here half-stepping just because you lazy. Don't come up in here half-stepping just because you want an excuse for being trifling. Don't come up in here trying to half-step because you talking about you can't find a man and you eating half a loaf of bread because you're trying to be like Lizzo. Don't complain about getting exactly what you're trying to program yourself to get. You're talking about these women got attitudes and everything. Well, don't complain about the fact that you aren't doing anything in life to prepare yourself to take care of the woman you have at home and the family you might have. And see, get ready to get rid of some of the myths. Myth one that I always tried to debase. Black men are the worst in the country when it comes to paying their child support. You heard that?
Of course.
Yeah, but we're not. For 30 years, I went to judicial conferences, 16 unit hours worth a year. You know what demographic, ethnic group pays their child support better than any other in the United States of America?
Go ahead and tell it.
Black men. Nobody even comes close to us. So, but we, in everybody's mind's eye, are the worst. But it's a lie. But we had Obama Tang Bush boy, Bush money, Rock. He got up 2007. Jesse Jackson didn't realize Mike was on, told him he needed his balls cut off for lying about black men being so bad paying child support. We are not.
Who did that? Obama?
Obama's got up and said, my good brother. He was at a Father's Day function in downtown Chicago, mostly white folk. And he was saying, my good brother. We have to get our stuff together. We're the worst in America when it comes to paying child support. And Jesse Jackson's mic was open. He didn't realize it. And he said, that end needs his balls cut off for lying like that.
Oh, I remember that. Yes.
Now,
yes.
Dr. Jackson and I had been riding next to each other on an airplane for about 4 hours, maybe 2 or 3 weeks before that. We had discussed it. So he was well up on the actuality. So here's colored-looking candidate for president, and he is perpetrating this lie that the people he's fronting off on being are the worst at something in the country. And by the way, let me get back to one more thing I want to bring in. This LGBT thing does not represent all gay folk. It's a cult, all right? I don't have any problems with gay folk. That's their business. But when you start getting a cult that manifests a behavioral function outside of the bedroom, it's something else. When you start getting something that's tearing down the nuclear family, it's something else.
Right.
And
I totally agree.
Here's the thing. They are not telling you the truth. So if you want the truth of the matter, get to the truth and get outside of the cult thing and deal with the realities. It's their business, what they do in the bedroom. But when they start trying to put what they do in the bedroom in your living room, it's a different thing. When they start trying to get these, what do you call them? The trans, going out there and knocking these young, beautiful girls around in women's sports, that's everybody's business.
Right, I agree.
Start getting them trying to go get your children and pervert them so they get into the 6B things as they're growing up. That's perversion. That is not good. Sexual exploitation of children, that's not good. That's everybody's business.
And now you can call a baby non-binary. Like it's just, it's too much. Like
do you know how many people in America think like that? Less than 6%, but they want everybody to treat them 6% like you don't have 20/20 vision. You shouldn't have 20/20 vision when I only have 20/50 or 20/90 or 20/110. You should be as bad off as I am. That's not how it works.
Well, we used to just call people crazy, but now we feed into the crazy and we say, no, it's not crazy. And we go along with it. So,
and I got a problem. You're a beautiful looking woman. I like looking at you. Yeah, man, she was fine. You should have seen, she grinned at me 2-3 times too, man. Yeah, I got pretty smile. Yeah, nice, pretty teeth. Yeah.
I'm scared.
I like that. And I look at this beautiful woman and I react. Now, I mean, I may be in love with some, I'm not married now, I'm divorced for the second time, but you know, I'm looking, but I'll look around and say, "Ooh, wow, yes." But nowadays I look around and instead of going, "Ooh, wow, yes," I said, "Ooh, wow, maybe. What is that?" Yeah, I don't feel comfortable looking
Oh,
at
sorry.
fraud.
Mm.
You know, is you is or is you ain't. What are you, my dear? Are you, should I call you dear? Oh, yeah, oh, get the hell away from me. And see, quit fronting off in line to everybody. You're not getting in the lifeboat first. You know what that means?
Yeah, I heard you bring this up in another interview, and it's a very good point.
The women and children get in the lifeboat first. Ma'am, please take my seat. You and your son child, I will drown when the ship goes down. You get saved. It takes a lot to get into a boy's head so he gets to that point as a man where the Titanic is in the icy Atlantic, it's sinking, and he's gonna die, but he gives up his seat to safety. See, that takes a lot of training, and that's the way it should be, because women are a profound resource. There is no next generation without women. That said, they are very important, and nobody needs to be fronting off trying to take things away from those women.
Yeah, so now who gets in the boat first? If you get rid of the order of how things are supposed to
Well,
go.
sir, let me put it this way. I don't think anybody on this lifeboat is going to tell, but I bet you're going to be chumming those sharks over there, and you will not get back to the shore, so nobody's going to know. So you can either get over here and do it gracefully or ungracefully, but those women and children are getting in that lifeboat first.
Mhm. That's a great
Isn't
point.
that the way it ought to be?
It is. It is. I mean, people are trying to call it old school now, but it absolutely is. You just can't do any and everything you want. And I say it on the show all the time, you have to have order or there'll be chaos. That's it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's it. So let me try to give you a topic that you haven't discussed, since you said people always bring up the same thing, and I'm almost certain you have not discussed this. Have you heard of the football player Deion Sanders?
What about him?
Okay, I'm gonna take that as a yes. Okay, so Pro Football Hall of Famer, current head coach of Jackson State University, Deion Sanders, decided to walk out of his media day interview in Birmingham, Alabama, after a reporter refused to call him Coach Sanders. Now, it was Nick Suss from the Clarion paper or website. Basically, Deion Sanders felt like, the guy should have called him Coach Sanders, and he called him Deion or whatnot. So my question to you is, have you ever experienced a situation when you were a judge, when you felt you were disrespected, but felt like if you were another color, perhaps the respect would have been given automatically?
Mm-mm.
No?
Mm-mm.
Really? So you always receive respect as a black
Level
judge?
level one went this way.
Okay.
Officer Williams, would you please see if your key fits in that door over there to lock up? If it does, escort this gentleman back there and remind me in a few days that we have him. We'll see if his attitude's got adjusted. I might bring him back in an hour or two later. If we got an adjusted attitude, okay, I tell you what, I'm listed in the phone directory. Why don't you and your, turn the record off, please. I'm listed in the phone directory. Why don't you and your homies come by and pay a visit, work off whatever disrespectful stress you got going in your crazy, dumb head.
Oh, that's how you handle it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
See, like Coach, what he should have done is instead of leaving, thrown the guy out. See, it's his venue. Escort him out. We're doing nothing until he's out of here. See, that's where you get it. Everybody else wants a story. You got Punk trying to play dummy. You say,
Well,
see, that's how you handle it. Like, escort him out. We're
mm.
doing nothing until he's off the premises.
Oh, did you hear about this story? Did you hear about this before?
No, I haven't, but that's the way
okay.
I would handle it. His invitation is revoked. Take him out of here.
Okay. Okay. Well, Deion tried to make the point that if it was Nick Saban, the Alabama coach, that no one would have ever tried to call him by his first name. So that
Well,
was
why didn't he act like it right there on the spot, close the meeting down and say, okay, it's over. Everybody go home. Now you either out of here or it's over.
well, it was a Zoom call, so he just got up and went to the, I don't know where he went, because I don't
No, just
know.
cut him off. Who's controlling the Zoom function? Cut this fool off.
Well, of course, now they made it into a big story, like he, you know, he was dramatic and overreacted, but
Well, there's no overreacting. See, people used to get killed for not being respectful. I've had many a homicide that I've presided over where this comes in. Humans are humans. Humans have dignity and respect. And see, basically the way you should have handled it was, look, tell you what, you apologize to me and you use my honorific if you want to stay in here, otherwise you will leave. If you do not choose to remove yourself from this Zoom call, then the whole call is terminated. Okay, blip, we're out of here.
that's
So
it.
you wanted a story, you go talk to him. We do not countenance this disrespect. And if his punk ass wants to bring himself over here, we'll deal with that too. But we didn't say that.
I gotta remind people you did grow up in Crenshaw, so
No, Crenshaw was nice. I grew up in South Central,
South
58th
Central.
place in Normandy, by Normandy and Slauson. And
Okay.
then I wound up after the first year of high school, I got over the Dorsey High area, which was Crenshaw. They had not built Crenshaw High then.
Okay. So now that we're going back to your early days, since I don't think I know this story, but what made you even want to be in law?
I didn't.
You didn't. Well, how did it happen, or what took
I
place?
wanted to be a physicist or a physician. Those three things: physicist, engineer, or physician.
Well, how do you feel?
Thank Ronald Reagan, who got in with his charlatan ass as governor of California. He ruined the California higher education system. You know, it used to be free. There was no tuition. They had an incidental fee of $100, $105, $57.50. And that was it. And he tried to ruin it. So I had this situation where I could get an all expense paid vacation in the Nam for a year, or I could declare one of three options: military science, political science, or vertebrate paleontology as a major. Since I could not get what I needed to get the physics, the engineering, or the other major I wanted, pre-med, soon enough. So I wound up going to law school.
How do you feel it turned out for you?
Yeah, I'm still breathing. I've done some good. It's not as rewarding as something that didn't deal with so many knuckleheads, but I mean, it's been fascinating. It's been as live as a lot of shows that you watch on TV.
Are you friends with any of the other judges that were on TV, like Judge Mathis or Judge Judy or any of them?
She's too young for me. Judge Judy she's got a Napoleonic problem. She's 4 feet 6 inches tall. And she made a career choice that she thought was great early in her career, but ruined. In other words, right out of law school, Mayor Koch, who was the New York mayor, offered her a job as a domestic court judge where lawyers couldn't practice. She was happy with it, but years later, she found she'd never made the $1 million settlement, never had the big jury trial, never had the big appeal, never had the big case that made the news. So Mathis is young. There are some other ones I liked. I liked Judge Alex. He was a street cop who went to law school. He's well-rounded. I liked, let's see, what's the young lady, Judge Toller out of Atlanta. She's got good sense. And there were one or two other ones, but a lot of those people weren't even judges. They just got auditioned. Like Maybelline never was a judge. She was a lawyer, but you know, she never got on the bench anywhere for real. But I mean, some of these shows were just shows. Some of them, like mine, by declaration of the California Supreme Court, we were doing binding contractual arbitration, which is something entirely different. So it is what it is. And I
Okay.
was trying to use the pulpit to show mainstream, backstream, backwater, all denominations of men in the country how to behave.
Yeah, that was gonna be my next question. How do you think the show did? What did you want to say with your show back then?
Oh, it works. I mean, I've been doing this for 6 decades actually. So I walk down the street in Memphis and people walk up now. Judge, you remember me? No, sir, I don't. Well, you gave me some time. Did I give you enough? Oh, yeah. But see, I didn't know what you were into when you started talking about this man thing. Now I know. See, I said, yeah, you gray hair. How many grandchildren you got? 7. Okay. And how many of them you want me to come talk to and their friends about manning up? Oh, see, you read my mind. You always do it. That's not reading your mind. It's just what men do. See, so now you got what I was trying to put in you, and you're trying to spread it out.
Just like I said earlier when I started the show, I said the same thing. So at this point of your life, what are you looking forward to? What's making you get out here and just talk on and get out here and put
Well,
your
they've recruited me to run for mayor of the city of Memphis in 2023. It ought to be the Chicago for the 21st century. There's no reason why it should not.
Mm-hmm.
If they got some people of vision who weren't corrupt and trying to reach as far under the table as they could to see what they could pull out and be straight up with the people, where they looked at helping people as an avocation rather than as a way to get rich. Is what it is.
So I just noticed we're seeing you more and you're just out here more. Was that why? I don't know.
It just happens.
It just happens
in its right place at its right time. See, things are coming to the head. There are some crucial nexuses that are developing in this country. Somebody who understands them has to say something about them. There is no Black leadership in America. It most certainly is not labeled Black caucus. It most certainly is not the run of the typical Black celebrity that you have. It is most certainly not the run of disenfranchised Negroes who are more worried about keeping a TV show than they are about doing right.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you tell them the truth and you are that person, are you afraid they're gonna try to stop you?
I'm not saying I am.
Are you not?
I may be.
Okay.
But I do my thing, and if it develops that I get to the top, fine. But as far as worrying about somebody, mm-hmm. Oh, hell no. Bring it on. Let's have some fun. Let's go party. Hell, if you want to go that way, we can go that way too. But I am taking somebody to Valhalla with my ass if you want to go there.
Where you get this what do you get that attitude from? Like, is that from your family or that was just you all along?
This is my family.
Okay.
I got one father that was a bishop, grandfather was a bishop, one grandfather that was a medical doctor. Okay. He murdered 2 deputy sheriffs along with another brother for participating in a lynching of another brother. All right. I have Uncle Booker, who was in the 10th Cavalry for a long time. And he did what he did. Then I've got a father that got a Silver Star, Bronze Star, etc. at the Battle of the Bulge. He wanted to make a career out of the military. I saw him knock some burger out when I was about 5 years old. He broke in the house. Hey, Pops, you all right with me? So, yeah, all right. Everybody in the family was about getting your head together, getting your soul together, getting your heart together, being about the right thing, and also with an understanding that dying was not the worst thing that could happen to you. Mm. See, I'm not afraid to die. And that's not empty talk. Well, I'll say this, I've mentioned it. When I had this James Earl Ray case, did Dr. King get murdered by James Earl Ray? No, he did not. Ray was not the gun. But in any event, I was letting that come out, and I got visited by 5 individuals in dark clothing with black balaclavas, that's those ski masks and communications equipment, sidearms, and there was a 30, 40 round shootout at my house between me and the 5 of them. I hit all 5 of them
No,
I
you
didn't do
did
that.
it.
Oh, yes, I did. And I
Oh,
brought the
whoa.
director of police out there, who was a friend, the next morning, and a former client who was a detective. We went through the blood trails and half of somebody's ear laying up on the windowsill. And we discovered that the recordation of the dispatcher had been blanked 45 minutes before and 45 minutes after the incident. Yeah, stuff happens, but my reaction to the whole thing was, wow, it's exciting. I enjoyed that. Damn, that was better than good sex.
Look, Judge O'Brien, I love you because you just crazy, boy, in a good way. You was a trip. Oh my God, you was a trip. Oh man, you was a trip. Look, I won't keep you on for that much longer, but I have to know, what is your thought about reparations for us ADOS people here?
We got reparations, January 14th, 1865.
Don't start. What you mean we got reparations?
We did. William Tecumseh Sherman, commanding general of a certain military district in the South, ordered that each freed Negro family be awarded 40 acres of seized Confederate rebel land and one army mule, 40 acres and one mule. His superior, Ulysses Simpson Grant, general, future president, okayed it. Abraham Lincoln, as commander-in-chief, okayed it. The Republican House and the Republican Senate approved it, ratified it, looked it up with the Freedmen's Bureau. It was working fine. Well, Lincoln got assassinated. His vice president was not a Republican, but a Democrat that Lincoln had, over the objections of his party, selected to try and bring the country back together. So Johnson, late of Tennessee, decided he was going to override that with his executive order, since it was still a military district. And he ended 40 acres and a mule in June 1865. So we had it. It got taken away. And I wouldn't mind having the reasonable interest compounded semi-annually on my share of 40 acres and one goddamn mule.
Yes. Because I have here Will Doherty, the professor of economics and African American studies at Duke University. He was speaking to some people on CNBC, and he said ADOS possesses about 12% of the nation's population, but possesses less than 2% of the nation's wealth. And
yeah,
the government.
I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that. About 40 years ago, about 40, the law office I was with, we got a study we were doing, involved in a study for Congress. And it was about air property in the South. We found that in regions like in South West Tennessee, Black folk owned anywhere from 30 to 40, going on almost 50% of the property, real estate in the area. But we had divested ourselves of the interest. Somebody went to Detroit, inherited a share from grandmama or granddaddy, and they sold off their share. And the people that they sold it off to bought everybody out. So now you have a very small percentage of the property, real property, held by Black folk, when at one time we held a great chunk of it. We did that to ourselves.
That's a point he brought up as well. They have to consider Black property loss. And it says estimated over $60 million worth. And
a lot more than $60 million.
Well, he said the government would need to clear at least $11 trillion.
Yeah, we can't afford it. But I tell you what we can do.
What?
I'm trying to put together a brain trust of Black physicists, scientists, engineers, very smart Black folk, men and women. And we are going to take control, and we're going to start running things and putting intelligence into the mix. We're not going to get where we need to get with corner grocery stores. That's secondary. But we do need somebody to get us in on the ground floor of the equivalent of a .com revolution. Now that we can do. And one of the reasons that, well, I am not all this hot on smoking. Hey man, pass the joint, man, it's good. No, We need to have clear heads so we get into the science so we can have our own .com revolution, get in on the ground floor and do what we need to do. We do not have time to waste on getting high.
Y'all hear that? That's a very good point, Judge. Wow, we covered a lot of things here today, but before I go, give us one piece of advice, Judge. What books are you reading these days? What book would you advise us to read? I would.
You don't want to read what I read.
Oh Lord, why not?
It's engineering, physics, hard science, military tactics, political stratagems, things like that.
Well, why you say
anthropology and things like most? I have a hard time. You have to develop thirst for these things first. Go out and just read anything. It doesn't make any difference. Just get in the habit of reading. It's good for you. These books are magic books. Learn how to cast spells. Get into the books so you can understand what you're doing.
Yes, sir.
Now, as far as that goes, it's like this. I'm tired of hearing young Black folk talk about everything's holding them down. This is directed to the young men. Get your funky acts together. Start looking at this as an opportunity. Yeah, there may not be daylight at the end of your tunnel, but look at that as an opportunity to go into that tunnel, slay all the fire-breathing Gila monsters that are setting flame to all of the obstacles in that tunnel, clear the fire-breathing Gila monsters out, clear the debris out, open up the tunnel so those who you are obligated to protect get to the end of the tunnel, even if you don't. That's your obligation as a man. If you deal with your obligations as a man, you can sleep well, you can rest well in your grave, and people will remember you for doing something. Keep that on, keep that in your head, keep moving on, get it on, do it on, and how about I got to go. This has been Judge Joe. I came when you called. I did not run down the hall, but I came back into the classroom, and I'm not trying to preach doom. I'm trying to tell you what we need to get to, where we need to go if we want to get somewhere soon. So the judge is on the road, I got to go, and young lady, you are truly beautiful too. I'm glad to have laid eyes on you.
Oh,
now, how about that for freestyle?
Dang, was that a rap? I like that, Judge Joe Brown. Go ahead. Well, you could drive me in your $180,000 car anytime.
Well, it's a little more than that, but it's a really worked up Porsche. But anyway, that's the Bentley and some other stuff's gone. But you know that was a divorce. I'm moving on from that. Okay, but you call me sometimes. We'll chat and I'll keep you up. Call me.
I'll be in LA in November now, so I'll hit you up.
I'll be in LA this, I think it's September. I'm supposed to be out there to do some rehearsals.
Okay, Judge Joe Brown, it's been such an honor to talk to you, sir. I know you don't want to call you sir and judge in the same sentence, but I just
no, you can say sir and all that. My lord, if it pleases the court. See, you can grin at me and say, yeah, I saw that. Oh, yeah,
Look, Mr. Judge Joe Brown, sir, look, I'm putting them all in a sentence. I want to thank you so much. You can come back anytime you want. It's been a complete honor.
Call me. You got my number.
Okay, I will call you. You please take care of yourself
chat sometime.
Too.
Might get interesting. Now, lads, how you do this? How you work this? See how the game works, and not even game.
Oh, dang! I'm falling for it. Dang, I just
it ain't a game. See, that's the secret. It's not game. It's interchange. See, everybody thinks it's a game. It's just what humans do. It's pleasant conversation. You happen to be female. I happen to be male. I assume you're straight. I know I'm straight. So, hey, call me when you get the chance. I'm here.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. And you guys, thank you for joining us, Judge Joe Brown. Take care of yourself now.